make it as simple as it's actually supposed to be. So good to have you this morning. And
Always
yes,
a
we're talking
pleasure.
financial planning. It's pretty much crucial at this time that we have COVID-19. Most of the people have been shocked with the repercussions that come along with that. Most of the people have had to do a lot of adjustments so that they are somewhere afloat, waiting to see what will be the next step. So it is important that we have this conversation. And sometimes we really do not know the essence of that until, it dawns on us that something is amiss and we have to fix it. So here we are.
Well, what I can say is with regards to personal finance, there's quite a lot that goes into it, although it has to be goal-oriented. First things first. So ultimately, when we advise people on personal finance, the first thing is, what do you want? What is your goal? Do you want a house? Is it fees for your kids? Is it that masters that you're looking for? So you need to have like a concrete goal. Then I need X amount, for example. So in that sense, you have a clear goal in your mind. This is the amount I'm looking for. So when you're making these plans, you now go and say, this is what I have in the bank. Should I invest, or should I maybe look for an extra job to cover the deficit or something? So when we start this conversation on personal financing, it normally relies a lot on what, as a personal individual, you're looking for.
Right.
Is it traveling the world? So you need to have a clear goal in your mind when you're talking about personal finance.
Right. Interestingly, the events of life would probably not get you to that point where you have certain goals. Today you are poor, the next day you wake up rich, or today you have this, the next day you do not have it at all.
Exactly.
Sometimes really most of the people are not goal-oriented, and in this case then that's why we need a financial planner who can come on board and tell us, with this little money that you have, you can do this and all that and everything. Let's just look at the general perspective of it without focusing much on what goals people might have. Isn't it very important that there's planning? Isn't it very important that there's care on the finances and the monies that one has?
Definitely. So an example that I'd give is considering the current situation, COVID. So maybe personal financing during COVID. So what I'd say is, first things first, you come analyze where you are. How much money do I have in the bank? Then you sort of prioritize. First thing is, we need maybe to pay rent, or if it's fees, you sort out fees. So you have like a hierarchy of your needs, such that if you're spending any money, you know what comes first, then it has like a flow, for example. So that's where you normally start off. Just analyze where you are currently, so current situation. Then you plan your needs according to what is the most important to the least important.
Just what is the importance of planning financially?
I'd say it's just to be prepared. Whatever happens, you need to be able to just wake up in the morning and know, this is what I have. I can move to X date, or when it gets to X date, I'll need to do XXX, such that if everything goes to plan, you're somewhere in the end. So planning is normally very important if you want to be in a position where you're not surprised by small issues. So
okay, I don't know whether it will be outrageous to even imagine that you can start planning financially even before you have the monies, because you asked me whether I have a financial plan or anything, and I was like, I do not have so much money that I would even think about financial planning. Most of the people who are so much into dealing with finances would tell you that that is probably a stupid move to make. So is it wise? Is there a possibility of one planning even before you get a hold of this money? Is that what we're talking about?
I'd say it's being optimistic, not advisable. But that's what most people do. I feel like it's sort of inevitable. You'll definitely be in your mind dreaming of that holiday home somewhere, or that trip, yet you don't have the funds at the moment. So like I said earlier, having a set goal is really important, just to drive you. If you're out there looking for this money, it motivates you towards your now goals that you have. Plus, being able to have like a concrete goal in mind helps a lot, in the sense that if I say this, by the end of this year I want to maybe take a trip somewhere, I'll go look at hotels, look at places, get like a price. I'm looking for 200K. Then when I'm out here, I can say, I'll get 50 from here, I'll get another 100 from here, something along those lines. Or if it's school fees, I can say, maybe I have a shamba, I'm farming somewhere. If I sell X, I can get X to cover school fees. If I have a house and I need rent for a certain period, if I'm working, I plan according to that. So if you have like a concrete goal, you have a fixed amount that you're looking for, it's easier to achieve it, as opposed to just having, I want to go somewhere, or I want to be rich.
Are there critical I'd say steps to, planning your finances?
Definitely. First things first, avoid debt at all costs. Debt is normally one of the major, I'd say, drawbacks or things that hold you back when you have now personal financing goals, in the sense that you're paying for money that you don't have at the moment.
But people argue that sometimes more of the investments, projects or, openings are more into the debt world.
It's easy to have a big head when you think yourself as an investor. You'll say, I know how to do this. If I put it here, I know I'll definitely get this money. In most cases, it's normally preferable, consult somebody who's a broker, somebody who's in the industry, who knows the market. They'll tell you, buy these shares or invest here. So in your mind, if you're going to take a loan to invest or do a biashara somewhere, you need to have somebody else who's in the market to be able to ensure that if you're investing, you'll definitely come out with something. Because in most cases, going into some of these investments as an individual is not advisable just because of that lack of experience. Where if you're rearing chicken, for example, you need to know somebody who has chicken. They'll tell you they get sick after 2 weeks. You need to vaccinate them. You need to sanitize their place because they're I'd say high risk. So some of these people who have this experience are the people who will help you ensure your investment turns around.
All right, that is in debt. Anything else that would look at as a process?
Health is really important. Health normally derails a lot of people's finances, in the sense that you've planned, this is how my year will go. In the middle, a relative falls sick. Maybe you
pandemic
fall sick.
is here.
A pandemic is here.
Right.
You have to spend some money in the hospital, and definitely hospital bills aren't that cheap. So get that NHIF or get an insurance cover. Just make sure your health situation is in order. In the sense that if you have an emergency, you're able to sort of wait it out, or you can manage. So first, just get rid of all the debt. Make sure your health is in order, such that you have a backup in case anything happens. Then now from there, you can now start building on maybe investments and such and such.
And let's talk about the investments. What investments are we looking at that would help you, first of all, plan your finances well, will help you manage your finances well and all that? So
when we talk about investments generally, we look at it from a risk-return perspective, where you're giving up you're taking on a certain level of risk to get a certain level of return. In the sense that there are some places you can invest in, like government bonds, where you're guaranteed of a return, though the return is like a small amount. For government bonds, like a 2-year bond, you'd get around 9-10%. If you're looking at high risk securities, that's maybe your stock exchange. You see spreads of upwards of 20% return on your investment. So for you to be able to take advantage of some of these areas, you need that experience that I was highlighting earlier. So as much as people want to make money out here, I feel like the easiest route is look for somebody who knows what they're doing, push them, ask questions, see if you can get help from them. So when you're looking at investments, we look at risk return. So you look at yourself as, I'm an individual, I have, let's say, 10,000. I want to invest. Okay, 10,000 is a small amount. You're starting off. What you want to do, you don't want to lose that 10,000. You want to have it preserved in a way. So you'd look for like a money market fund, which is low risk, low return, but your money you won't lose your money essentially. So it's like you have a place where you're parking your money, you get that additional 10%, which you won't be able to get in the bank. So it's a form of investing, though at a lower rate. As you graduate, you can now expose yourself to higher levels of risk, where now you can go to equities. Then the way we sort of try and encourage people to go about it is, don't focus on one area, such that if you have only 10,000, don't put all of it in one section. You can put half here, so that if things go bad on this side, you have a backup. So it's sort of like diversifying your portfolio. So in a sense, know all the funds you have, then you can now allocate it accordingly to where you think you can get the best return.
All right. In this case then, what are the possible risks that are in existence when one is planning financially, and what are some of the do's and don'ts? Because honestly, and I don't know, well, this could be the most vague example to give, but I hear, you know, most of the times you're being told that if you have to plan and, you know, save and all that, sometimes it's like, oh, people nyima themselves to a point whereby they do not even look at that aspect of health that you talked about. You know, eat well. Someone says this is expensive. It's expensive to eat well, just in the name of saving.
I'd say if you want to save, there are better ways of going about it.
Yeah.
I normally see as saving and investing seem to be the same thing, though when you decide to save in a bank, you're just putting your money somewhere.
Yeah.
You're not making your money work for you. When you put it in a money market fund, other companies...
It multiplies and
Yeah, so that's the goal of essentially growing your wealth.
Yeah.
You need to put it where your money will work for you. You don't have to be in that job to make money.
All right.
You need to put your money somewhere where it will grow. Put it in a business, put it in shares. Shares is you own part of another company that does business, so your money is on the grind. So that's the important thing. If you have money, don't keep it somewhere. Don't put it under a mattress. Put it somewhere where it will work for you.
Yeah.
Buy that plot, develop it, put rentals, something to at least keep your money moving. So that's normally the goal when we advise people when they're thinking about growing their wealth, personal financing. The goal isn't to just spend. You need to grow that money.
Yeah.
So if you have an avenue where your money is increasing, you're allowed to go splurge somewhere, go for that holiday. So as long as you have this buffer or something on the side, continuously just generating something for you, it will definitely get you somewhere when you're thinking about personal financing.
Oh, that's amazing. All right, at this time of COVID-19, and maybe even before we delve deep into COVID-19, we need to know that, and we need to understand whether part of financial planning is that aspect where, you know, you equally sit down and plan in the event that this money vanishes just because of something that has happened. How do I bounce back? How do I get back? How do I stay afloat?
So what I can say with regards to COVID, what we've been advising people has been just be aware of what amount of money you have. You can sit here and say, maybe I have 50,000 somewhere. When you go, it's actually not there.
Yeah.
So just spot check, go through your accounts. I have X amount. Then we've been seeing various individuals, if it's banks or your landlord, giving you like leeway for giving you 3 months rent. Sometimes your landlord won't come to you and tell you don't pay rent. You have to go and ask for it.
Yeah.
So because of COVID, we've seen some people just reach out to their landlords. If it's your bank, you have a loan, say this is the situation. Can you give me like a few more months so that you're not spending on a loan, whereas you can get that grace period because of COVID. So just try and get room sort of to manage the whole situation. If it's loans, you can ask for grace periods on them. If it's rent, some landlords are forgiving, they're understanding.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing. Then we have to move on regardless. We don't know the situation around COVID, but come next year, you still have to be here, you still have to be making money. So you start planning. Am I going to invest here, or am I going to look for X job or X side hustle? Just something to keep that money coming in. If you've lost a job, find something new. So just being able to progress despite the situation is something that will help you sort of come out of it.
All right. Okay, and now that you spoke about that and we said, you know, the side hustles and everything, and everyone would tell you, I want to venture into business, I want to do this without even thinking. I would want to believe that that equally is crucial in terms of, you know, when you're talking about matters finances. So what would you tell these people who just wake up and decide, okay, well, it's a risk and everyone, a risk is worth taking, and I'm bulging myself into business without maybe sitting down to get the nitty-gritty details and having this well calculated?
What I can say is, even as from a personal perspective, I'm sort of a hands-on guy. So when you're going into something new, it's normally ideal for you to be on the ground, be the one pushing people, so that as a way of getting that experience, it helps you learn a few things. Yeah. So just to sort of emphasize that need of having, like, I'd say a mentor if you're going into a new business, somebody who already knows. So it's some people have that experience where they've just jumped into it and they've made it. I'd say that's lucky, or they've been prepared in other ways. But the best way to go about it, find somebody who knows. Talk to your friend who's done it before, or who did it 5 years ago. Go to these forums. They have expos all over the country, agriculture, farming, talk to people who do these things.
Yeah.
Just being able to understand how the market moves or how the industry operates will go a long way. If you're going to put all your money in there, you have to be sure it's going to come out.
All right. And that brings me to this question as we get to wind up. Just exactly what is financial planning? Is it having it on paper? Is it saying that, I have this goal and I have this amount of money in the bank, so it's okay, I'll put this, just random approach of it? Or there needs to be some proper documentation, some proper recording that is needed?
I'll say even for those individuals who do it randomly, there is a way they do it.
Okay.
As random as it might look, there's like a plan way. They'll say, I have X in the bank, let me do X, X, X. Yeah. It might seem random, but there's like something that they look at.
There's a breakdown.
So I'd say you don't need like a clear thought out plan, Excel sheets and whatnot. Just be in a place where you have your goals set. Every month you say X, 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 X. Have I achieved them? No. What do I need to do? At least do something such that at the end of 6 months, at the end of a year, 2 years, 5 years, you can say, 6 years ago I was here, today I'm here. I've grown. I have these plans, or I had these goals. I've done X towards them. This is the progress I've seen this far. So when it comes to financial planning, it doesn't really have to be on paper. It just has to be in a place where you're planning your finances. You're not just getting money in the bank, getting it out. It has to be planned. It comes in, you pay rent, you pay school fees. That's planning in a way. As random as it might seem, you have like a hierarchy of needs that you look at first, then you have now your money to do all the other things that you have.
Amazing. Investments analyst. Why would you want to analyze investments? And then how then is this coming in connection with financial planning?
Money makes the world go round.
Yes, I agree.
Unfortunately.
Put it here and we wind up the show.
I'd say for personal finance, everybody wants to have a lot of money. Everybody wants to be wealthy. I wouldn't say just for the money, but to be able to do other things. I want to buy this. I just want to be able to go and pick it. So investing is one of the first ways of going about it, in the sense that you want to grow your money. So for me as an analyst, I feel like investing is a very good channel where you can grow your money. And if you're somebody who has experience in the field, it helps a lot in when you think about personal financial planning. Yeah. The sense that if you put your money here, you'll get X return, or you'll be able to grow after this period. So when you think about it from a planning perspective, you can put money X, X, X here, and after a year, you'll be guaranteed this is what I'll get back. So as an analyst, I help out a lot, friends, colleagues, just to try and build that personal financial planning culture, I'd say.
All right. So as a helper, so to speak, what would be that one take-home advice that you'd give us today in terms of, planning our finances, in terms of getting it right, in terms of bouncing back? Because, I want to believe bouncing back is as good as getting it right. Yeah.
What I can say is, you don't know it until you try it. Yeah. If you want to start investing, just start.
That is the hardest thing.
Don't talk to people. Get that advice, but talking doesn't do anything. Just start. If you want to buy shares, go open a CDSE account. If you want to put a money market, go open a money market fund account. There are some that have minimum amounts as low as 100. You can just put 200, but when you're earning, it's that easy.
Wow.
So just start. That's what I'd advise everyone.
Well, there you go. And there are no limits to this. That's incredible. That's pretty much the hardest thing to do, but probably the easiest to make money once you put your head into and decide, this is the route that we take. And that is all about financial planning. There's still so much, of course, that you can always ponder on, you get to understand. And that's why Rodney says it's important that you consult. It's important that you go out there, find out what is at your disposal that you can take advantage of, and invest your money on, and at the end of the day, get these returns. Yes, COVID is here, so much is here, troubles are here, but that does not mean it is the end of everything. It probably means that it's that time that you bounce back and become bigger and better. Rodney Omokolu, investments analyst, Cytonn Investment. Thank you so much for gracing our set this morning and for the great insights. And that's where then we get to wind up the session this morning. It was good having you right from 6 a.m. up until now. I look forward to see you later in the day as I update you on the news events that will be taking center stage. My name is Linda Alela, and that's where we lock the session. Morning Cafe. See you.
If you have any comments or complaints about our news,